remember yesterday you were saying that he had palaces and he had all these things.
Not only that, he says how people used to serve him, not even one male was there.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's comparing that with that person who was saying that he's a destroyer of growth or something. That's how it started.
No, the destroyer of the baby.
Destroyer of the growth. Okay. I thought he was saying that his teaching is against the world's like the sensual way of living. That's what I.
Yeah, it's a baby killer.
A baby killer. Maybe in Sutta Central it is in a different way.
No, it is the same. I'm talking about baby killer only, what is written there.
Oh.
Bhuna.
Yeah, maybe
See, in Sanskrit it is Bruna. Bruna means embryo.
Yeah.
So Buddha's teaching is like which kills the embryo, it removes the embryo itself.
So basically he's saying his teaching is against the sensual enjoyment, right? There is no destroyer of the growth. That's what I read in, I think, Bhikkhu Bodhi or something translation. Destroyer of the growth.
Growth.
Yeah, growth. Maybe what I thought was, his teaching is against all these inventions, technologies, all those. People doesn't have any interest in doing all those things if you practice like this.
What he is trying to say, Māgaṇḍiya is trying to say is that you are teaching something which is devoid of sensuality. That means you're saying there's nothing called sensuality, which is like removing the embryo itself.
Okay.
That means there is no need for anybody to do anything. See, so what is he trying to say? Let's understand. If you want to eat, right? If you want to eat, you have to prepare, correct?
Yes.
Without preparing the food, how can you eat? So if you say cutting out the embryo itself, then there's no need for you to eat. So people who follow you will come to a stage that they will not prepare anything. They will not do anything.
So that means he was very, very much against this teaching, right? That person.
He was, yes, he was against the teaching because he teaches how to annihilate the sensual thing itself, because that is required. See,
I think I'm reading that baby killer, but I think Bhikkhu Bodhi says something else. That's what I remember. The destroyer of the growth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay. See, Bhruna means embryo. He uses the perfect word Bhuna. Bhunahanta. If you read in Pali.
Bhunahanta. Okay, so it is a perfect word?
Yes. Whether they call it as growth or they call by whatever in English, doesn't matter. Bhuna huno teyam addasama iti. Bhunahano. In Sanskrit it becomes Bhruna. Bhruna means embryo. Yes, sir, you.
I think in an earlier version of the Sutta Central, it's translated as a life destroyer. That life destroyer.
Correct.
Yeah, it is indeed the Master Bharadwaja. It is an insight we see when we see that bed of that destroyer of growth. That's what Bhikkhu Bodhi translates.
No, that's correct, Bobby. The main essence is if anybody follows Buddha teaching, that person will lose interest in life, and hence the only thing he will now think is to commit suicide.
Yeah.
That's the thing what will happen. Meaning you lose interest in everything, and then you say that there is nothing there, and then what happens?
Yeah.
Then you will kill yourself, right?
Yes.
So you shouldn't follow Gautama. That's what he's saying. So he says, Bharadwaja, you are follower of Bharadwaja. So my wife, Gotra is Bharadwaja. Same clan. She is from the same clan. So now the question comes, does she know what is Bharadwaja? That would be an odd question to her, or to her parents, or their parents and their parents. So there's 7 generations. So what Buddha says is that you should ask this question to 7 generations. Do they know what they did? And the first generation says, I don't know. Then you ask the second generation above, do their parents know what they did? And the answer is no. And the third generation also says that I don't know. And the fourth generation says that I don't know. The fifth generation says that I don't know. And the sixth generation also says I don't know. And the seventh generation also says I don't know. Then how do you then say that you are from that lineage? That doesn't make you a Brahmin. So Bharadwaja is a Brahmin. Just because you put a label and say that I am from that clan doesn't make you a Brahmin. So there are Jamadagni. So he says in Pali it is Jamadaggi, a Sanskrit Bharadwaja, and Pali is also Bharadwaja. Then you have Vishwamitra. Then it is called Visamitra. Okay. Angisara. And in Pali, Angisara. Like that, you have all the Vedic one who created the Vedas. They have contributed to Vedas. They're contributors. So like in my case, I am from a caretaker family and they are not contributor. Just like, before dying, I will say, Aryu, please caretake of this. And he will say, okay, I will take care of it. Don't have to worry. So Aryu becomes a caretaker. And people following Aryu will become caretaker's family. So in their clan will be Aryu clan. And that's stupid then, right? You don't know Aryu is only a caretaker. It's like a security guard. There was a house. In that house, there were 20 people, and those 20 people had a very nice domesticated security guard who was almost like them. Domesticated in the sense that they taught him how to behave, how to lead a good life, and blah, blah, blah. And the caretaker just almost became like that. But he couldn't become that because he's just a caretaker. If that stupid caretaker thinks that I am a contributor to the Veda, then he is wrong. Or that caretaker's next generation feels that my previous generation, that is my grandfather, was a caretaker, instead of a caretaker, was a contributor to the Veda, then it is lying. Okay. And their clan will say that we have contributed. Their next generation is lying, and then lying, and then lying, and then lying, and then lying. And then that means it's only lies. Just like if you take any religion, that is how it works. So they take somebody and then they attach to that and say that I'm from there. That's not true. It can't be true. Just because you put that person's name, let's say I put Buddha and below I'll put Sayadaw. No, you can't just do that. It looks absurd. Like that is this problem. So that's exactly what he's asking. Māgaṇḍiya is asking the person that why are you preparing this mat for him who will come and destroy your complete clan? He will now destroy Brahminism. Right? Because you are from Bharadwaja clan and he will quit you. He will say that you are no longer part of Bharadwaja and he will say, yes, Bhante. And then you will get converted to what Gautama Buddha says. That is the depth of this Bobby. That 3 lines is so much depth is there. So we should understand from what context he's talking about. It's not about whatever he says about leprosy and this one. Don't you see that this is happening? So how he approaches Māgaṇḍiya. So Buddha overhears what Māgaṇḍiya is talking to this Brahmin who is from Bharadwaja clan. And then he comes there to the same place where they are debating at why this mat has been placed. Any question before we continue? So every religion worth the name, if they follow Buddha teaching, they will have to leave their religion. Including Buddha teaching, including those people who are saying that we are Buddhist, they have to give up Buddhism by this token. Because we are also putting that, we are putting Buddha and under that some like that. That's not the right way. And then we say, we are doing out of respect. Not
But
right.
sir, many of the Buddhism is following their tradition,
Correct.
like Māgaṇḍiyasutta tradition,
Correct.
tradition.
Correct. That is correct. So that shouldn't be there. So in the Māgaṇḍiyasutta, that is all what that Māgaṇḍiyasutta is all about. That it creates problem for you. If you were to identify, it's like having leprosy. Kutha roga. He says Kutha roga, which is in Sanskrit Kushta roga. So you have leprosy. What you do is you go and put it near the fire. It's scratching. So what you do is you keep on placing it near, so you feel you're okay. After some time, again it starts to irritate. Again you put it near fire. So if I were to say I'm following Ajahn Chah teachings, you're putting next to the fire. If I'm saying I'm following Goenka tradition, I'm placing near the fire.
But sir, it is not following problem with following religion or tradition. It is problem not living at the time of Nibbana.
Exactly. So now what happens here is that if it gets too far, if it gets attached that I am following so and so, you will never be Nibbana, because
Okay.
Nibbana is unconditioned. You are conditioning it. You are saying that I am from so and so. So what Māgaṇḍiya says is that if you follow the Buddha, he will remove the womb, he will remove the embryo itself from you. Which is dangerous, because he will say that this minus it out.
So following tradition means you are going in a direction to hold it. So better not to follow it.
Better not to take it as yours. So you can take Buddha teaching, absolutely fair.
Right.
But don't go by tradition. That's what the Kalama also says in the Kalama Sutta. He says, don't go by lineage, don't go by tradition, don't go by testatement, don't go by this, don't go by that, because it becomes an attachment. And also in the Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta, he asked thrice, are you taking Buddha Dhamma for crossing over or holding on your back? So the boat I have given you to cross the river, not to take the boat with you. So we have to see from that. So that means what happens? What Māgaṇḍiya says is right. That if you follow if you follow Gautama, he will cut the embryo. Yes, sir.
And even these people who challenge Buddha, these accusations, these people are not, normal worldly people. They are
very highly evolved people. They are not like you and me who will go and talk to the Buddha and try to beat him, right? They know everything and then they go there, right? So Māgaṇḍiya is one of them. He is a person who knows everything about everything. He's He's an unbeatable person, Māgaṇḍiya. So Bharadwaja clan, he knows Bharadwaja. Who? Māgaṇḍiya. Okay, so he asks, you are from Bharadwaja clan and why are you doing this? That's the question what he's asking there. It's not a very simple question. In that everything exists. Everything comes to be.
I'm sorry, which question has all the...
In that question, he Kammasa Dhamma. So he's from Kuru. So the place is Panchala. Okay, there is in Mahabharata there is a Panchali, which is Draupadi, and Kuru, like in the Satipatthana also the Kuru comes. Kuru are people who know Dhamma. So in Bhagavad Gita also there is Kurukshetra, that is the place of the Kurus, where they know what is Dharma and what is Adharma. You don't have to teach them, they know it. Every person knows it there, by the way. So Kammasa Dhamma means what is Kamma, what is Akamma, they know it. And that's the place is called Kammasa Dhamma. So when he is going there, okay, then the Māgaṇḍiya approached where they are supposed to do the yajna or the sacrifices to the gods. Okay. And then he sees a grass spread out there. I'm just reading what is there in English, but I will also tell you in Pali. Addasako Māgaṇḍiya Paribhajako Bharadvaja Gottappa Brahmanassa Agyagare Tina Sandharakam Pucchetam. So what they used to do is, they used to put that mat. They used to make a mat out of grass. Kusha is the grass. There's a particular grass in India. Okay, that will be soft. Okay, so they used to place for any big person to come. So they used to make that place. So he is asking this person who is from Bharadwaja clan, why are you doing this? Now, he could have just said a Brahmin, Māgaṇḍiya asked a Brahmin. No, he's specifically bringing Bharadwaja. Because Bharadwaja's contribution onto the Vedas is enormous. So you should leave a space, make a space for someone who will teach you how to lead a good life, rather than one who kills, removes from the womb itself. That's his question. So he's saying, Kassa Swayam Bhoto Bharadvajassa Agyagare Tina Sandharako Puccheto Samaneya Anurupam Mucche iti. That means you are making sure that not only he comes and stays there, sits there, you are also making him to sleep there. That means you are giving him everything. So then he says that I'm doing it for Gautama. Athibho Māgaṇḍiya Samano Gautamo Sakya Putto Sakya Kulo Ubbajeto. So he says, Duddittam Vatabho Bharadvaja Addasama. Duddittam Vatabho Bharadvaja Addasama. Ye Mayam Tassa Bhoto Gotamappa Gotamatsa bhunahuno seyam addasama iti. That means you are giving this to someone who will remove your entire lineage through his talks. You understand? Because Bharadwaj, out of all the 7 rishis who have contributed into the Vedas, the Bharadwajas is the highest. Yes.
So what's the Vedas? Vedas compiled during a contemporary period when the Buddha was there.
It's the first Buddha.
Oh, first Buddha. So the Veda is the accumulation.
Even before that. So even if you look at the first Buddha, he studied the Vedas. Then he found out the errors in that, and then he started looking at what are the issues. So the starting point, at least in this part of the world, is on that. Yes, go ahead.
So over such a long period of time, has it been edited? What kind of contribution do you still need? At that time, it's already fixed.
It's fixed. So if you were to know the chandas meter, even the Pali has a chandas, but not so in depth like in the Sanskrit grammar. Okay, so what happens here is that there's nothing you can add, nothing you can remove. If you remove one, it will destroy the whole thing. If you add, anybody will come to know this is added. So the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, all these 3 Vedas, there is nothing anybody could add, because it is so much phonetic that it will create that kind of vibration. Now I'll give you, there are 560 kilohertz to 110 kilohertz. So you can create energy resonance of that. So let's say I want like a tuning fork inside my body. There is a particular passage which I can recite, and then it will start like a tuning fork inside the body. Let's say I have some clot, or I go to the doctor and the doctor says that, look, your arteries is clogged. Okay. Now, in general, what I have to do? I had to go and have an angio, and then they insert a balloon and then they burst it. Then they put a stent. You know what this guy can do? Come back. There are few passages. He can recite it for 3 months. And the clot is gone. That block is gone. No need for going anywhere. But who should do is a question. And that's the problem now. It's not for general public who would, just take that and then they recite it and it happens. No. He should be from that clan. And that's the problem. So what has happened here is that Brahmins were not by birth, but by their work. After a while, it became Brahmin by birth. So when they became Brahmin by birth, it became Kshatriya by birth. And then when Kshatriya became by birth, that means the Vaishyas also can be by birth. And then Vaishyas became by birth, that means the Shudras became by birth. So then it becomes a class structure and a class struggle, rather than, in every sutta he says it can be from Brahmana, Khattiya, Vaisya, Sudra. So he puts that because anybody can reach anywhere, provided he has that knowledge. So what happened here is that the ritual started to make some sense, because then you can say that how does a Brahmin happen? If you're born in a Brahmin family, then you become a Brahmin. How does a Khattiya happen? If he is born in a kingly or a Khattiya clan, and then he becomes a Khattiya. how does a Vessa happen? That the person is born in the Vessa family, and how the Shudra happens, and then it happens because he's born. So then it became more of a birthright rather than by how it should work. So what Bharadwaja is in this is he's a contributor to the Veda, and his contribution is enormous, especially on the phonetics, and the Panini is a grammar, but on the Bharadwaja, his contribution is too good. Yes, go ahead.
Meaning his ancestors would have been a great contributor, because by that time.
Bharadwaja is a contributor.
But you're saying it should have been fixed since the first Buddha, and all these time it's fixed.
Bharadwaja is from that time.
Oh, okay. So this one is
and this guy, this person whom Māgaṇḍiya is asking, he is meeting that Brahmin, and he is saying that you're from Bharadwaja clan, and why on earth are you doing, or to whom are you doing this? And then he says, I'm doing it for Gautama. And he says, what kind of wrong thing you're doing? Because now we can ask why. Yes, Bobby.
So you are saying that this happened like in the first Buddha. So what do you mean by that? First Buddha means?
I didn't say first Buddha. What I'm saying, his question was, where is the Vedas from? And if you can read from the Chronicles of the Buddha, in the first Buddha also, he talks about the 3 Vedas.
Yeah. So first Buddha, which Buddha you are talking about? First Buddha, in the sense, like I know like every eon, some you're talking about Samma Sambuddhas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Samma Sambuddhas, like every eon, this eon I heard like there is 5 or 6 Samma Sambuddhas, but some eons there is no Samma Sambuddha. So are you talking about the Buddha in this eon?
See,
Vipasti or something.
No, even earlier than that. See, if you read Chronicles of the Buddha, if it's there in the Sutta, after the Suttas, if you go down, you'll find Chronicles of the Buddha. In the Sutta Nipata itself, you'll find it. Okay. Then if you read the Chronicles of the Buddha completely, then you should start with the first Buddha. Okay. Not much details are there, but whatever little bit details are there, there is in the Māgaṇḍiyasutta also, there is a mention, and also in many suttas. There is the Tevijja Sutta and many other suttas. Ambattak Sutta. So like
so
that.
Before you are talking about some first Buddha, but I also heard there is no countless Buddhas in the past, countless Buddhas in the present.
That is correct,
like that.
Bobby. That is correct. So now his question is, how long can you think about the Vedas? Is it during Gautama Buddha? Let's take as an example. That is 2,500 years ago. If that was a thing, and the answer is no.
Yeah.
If you go the previous Buddha, is it from that time? And the answer is no. Yes.
Yeah, in DM 14, there's a Mahapadana Sutta. There Buddha gave all the 6 Buddhas before and how long they lived. And I think Vipasti is the first one that he listed in there. Used to live 80,000 years. Oh, so the debate would have been there even before that.
That's right.
I have read that. So what I was asking is that this is, every time one eon is the world, the destruction and the arising again, and this keeps on happening. So you are, when you are talking about this first Buddha, is it in this eon or the previous eons?
I don't know. I mean, I just said from what we like in the Jinapanjar also, there is a first Buddha.
But there is the Buddha thing is there is no first, right? It is countless, right? That's what first Buddha according to Sutta, or maybe
even in the Sutta there is nothing like countless Buddha. In fact, there are how many Buddhas are there? There is no
beginning. There is no beginning. There is no end. That is the whole. There is no
correct.
starting point. Yeah.
I don't know how to explain to you, Bobby. It's like this: you take a eon, you'll find some Buddhas. Then in some eons there are no Buddhas. Then in some eons there are Buddhas. Then in some eons there are no Buddhas.
Yeah.
So if you totally see from whichever eon, they'll have one first starting Buddha from there. Right?
But the eon is countless, right? It is endless, right? Samsara is endless. So This is my question. Sorry.
Bobby,
Oh my
there's
God.
one sutta where Buddha says he's the first Buddha, there's a second Buddha, like that. There's a huge list of things which will come. So if we have a doubt, I don't know how to solve that problem, because in another place he says that there is countless.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
you
understand.
cannot. So many questions when Buddha asked, when it started, he kept quiet, right? So there is no beginning or end for
Fair.
anything, right?
At least for speaking sake, we have to say there is a first Buddha there, whether that might be the truth, or like in the if you take even Mahavira or the Jains, there are 24 Tirthankaras. And how many Buddhas are we actually doing? 25 Buddhas. The last one is Gautama.
Yeah, that is a big confusion. Like when you said that, because the word.
I am not saying it is there.
No. For me personally, because this is not been clear. Because the thing is that if you say first Buddha, then there is the universe also has a beginning, right? So here you say there is no beginning of the universe. So that is where I am a bit stuck with this statement.
Okay, let me give you an example so that it becomes easy. If we were to see yesterday and tomorrow has no sense. Correct?
Yeah.
Does it have any sense in calling yesterday? Because when you slept yesterday, you were not there. When you sleep today, tomorrow is not there. Correct? Agree?
Yeah.
So can you now say that there is no yesterday? Because that's like an eon. Yesterday went away, you slept, and you didn't know what you did. And today morning you woke up, and today night when you sleep, you don't know about tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
But when you wake up, you call that as tomorrow. But there's no tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. So the same. I understand there is yesterday is there and tomorrow is there.
In the same way, it is said. But if you really ask this question, is there a past, present, and future? And the answer is no. But still we say there is a past, present, future, right?
No, my question is not that. I agree there is past, there is future, at least in the conventional way. But what I was trying to, is there a beginning of the past?
That's exactly the question what everybody asked Gautama Buddha. That can you tell me what is the past, what I was in the past, what I will be in the future? Because that will, that will answer to your question. That means there was a first Buddha, then the second Buddha. That means world is finite. That's exactly the question.
Yes, so I believe there is an infinite. You cannot find the first one.
No, there is neither thing called as infinite nor anything called as infinite. The first thing you need to understand this before we even go to this Māgaṇḍiyasutta is world is neither finite nor infinite.
Because the person asked the question, is it finite or infinite, right? Buddha asked that question. If it was infinite, he would say infinite.
Yes. So what happens here, there is in this sutta, Aggivacchagotta Sutta, 10 questions. Okay. Maybe we can take that instead of Māgaṇḍiyasutta if you're getting confused with this.
I think that is Vachagotta on fire, right? Vachagotta on fire.
On fire.
Yeah.
So now you will go on
that
fire.
That is the previous sutta.
Yes, the previous sutta. So basically, what is he asking? Antava loko, anantava loko. This is exactly the question you are asking. You're putting Buddha there, that's all. So, yes.
Sorry. What I was I don't ask that question whether it is infinite or finite.
No.
What I was asking is
wait for a second. Bobby, whether you ask world is finite or world is infinite, will Tathagata exist or Tathagata doesn't exist is what it means.
Yeah. Maybe he is taking of an enlightened sense. Somebody who is living in the present, all the time. For him, there is no finite or infinite or anything. But in a conventional way, we have to talk about the past and the future, right?
Here also you have to take it like that rather than taking it literally. See, now Buddha never says that there is no past. Buddha never says there is no future. Buddha never says there is present. In what does he say? Atita anagata pachuppanna. That itself he doesn't say. Forget about the first Buddha. There's nothing called first Buddha. But then I'll get confused. But you just now said there is first Buddha. Yes, in a conventional way. And that is the confusion what Vacha has. He comes and says, boss, you are literally confusing me. At one state you say, this is true. Another place you say it is false.
Thank God that he got enlightened. Vacha got it.
Because he said, then he says, do samatha and vipassana.
Yeah.
The reason why he does that is, unlike all other traditions, all other religions, there is absolutism and non-absolutism. Okay? There's absolutely something existing and absolutely something not existing. But in the Buddha teaching, he goes by quantum mechanics, where it gets established when you want it. Otherwise, there's no establishment. And that's the reason Einstein was saying spooky at a distance, because then he was thoroughly taken aback. How can one gloves on the moon can be changed by one glove on the earth? How does it know? There's no relationship between both of them. And yet it knows. How does this atom exactly know which one I'm going to choose? In the same way, there's nothing called absolute. Like there's another quantum experiment. They toss two coins. If it's heads, the other one is tails. But unfortunately, in this quanta, both can be heads, both can be tails. That's how. So this question of first Buddha, second Buddha, third Buddha is absolutism. Okay, it's just for convention. So don't take it that really there's a first Buddha. In the same way, there is nothing called as Veda existing before, after, like that. Yeah, Veda has been there. That we have to take. If you put a timeline to it, Akaliko becomes Kaliko. So the Dhamma doesn't work. It becomes Kaliko. Swakhato becomes no Swakhato. Sandhitiko will not be Sandhitiko any longer, because you can't see it now. So we have to see it in from non-absolutistic, that is non-annihilationist and non-absolute way. So what does Buddha do? He say Antavaloko, Anantavaloko. Why? It's an absurd question. Come on, what absurd? You tell me whether Buddha existed in the past. No, Buddha never existed in the past. Tathagata, will you exist in the future? Did you exist in the past? Because Buddha is what? Tathagata. These questions are there, 4 questions. This is called a Chatushkoti. 4 way of cornering, which is in English called as tetralema. You put him in a spot, ask him to choose one quadrant, either one of the quadrant. Once he fixes there, then you hit him. You agree to it. So Buddha knows this entire Chatushkoti. So he never gets involved with it. He just remains silent. Because it turns into argument. I say Buddha existed in the past, and then the eons will come. That means the eons are measurable, but eons are immeasurable. So that means Anantava Loko. So now you are of the view of Anantava Loko. I am of the view of Antava Loko. So then we are stuck. If we were to ask this question to Buddha, he would have just smiled. And he would have gone into deep sleep, letting go of that person who came in the front frustrated. He would have shouted at something and he would have gone, muttered at him and he would have gone. Buddha would be still smiling, and Ananda would have gone and asked, that poor chap came, you didn't do anything to him. What can I do, Ananda, for these kind of questions? And that's exactly what Vachagota has been going around and comes back. Going around, comes back. Going around, comes back. And the last time He says, I believe you, Gautama. Can you give me the teaching now? That is Māgaṇḍiyasutta Sutta. Okay, so why? It's because we want to establish there. See, the consciousness wants to get established there. The moment we say first Buddha, you see what happened. Consciousness goes and established there as though it is real. It's unreal, but it's real. And the moment I say there was no Buddha of the past, what happens? Annihilationist. So one will lead to Kilamata Yoga. That means you torture so much. If it is annihilationist, it goes to Kama Sukhaluka Yoga. That means enjoy sense pleasure as much as possible and go. There is no new life. And there is no past life. If we go by this. If you go by this, there is past life, there is future life. But then we don't know how to get out of it. Only God should save us. So that's the reason it's called middle path. It doesn't mean that take something from here, take something from here. It's middle path because you're seeing Patisamutpada, not because it's Antavaloko or Anantavaloko. So Māgaṇḍiya is asking Bharadwaja in that direction, that you are giving this seed to someone who will cut the embryo. So what it means? Annihilationist, basically. He's accusing Buddha of being an annihilationist, just like Vacchagotta used to do earlier, saying that you are cutting off the living being itself by your falsification. And many other people have accused Buddha of that. And they ultimately became Buddha followers because they couldn't get answers by themselves. So they got frustrated and ultimately came back saying that, now at least tell me. Like this Māgaṇḍiya, in the end, he says, okay, tell me. He says, no, why should I tell you? I don't want to get frustrated by teaching you. He teases him. He's not a small person, actually. The way he teases him, if it was somebody else, that guy would have gone mad. But it is Māgaṇḍiya, he knows. So he says, Gautama, there is a way you can teach me also. He says, no. If I teach you, this will happen, that will happen. He keeps on dragging in that sutta. And in the end, he says, okay, I will teach you. And he says, since you are following other tradition, in my dispensation, it is 4 months. What he says, I don't mind 4 years probation. If they are happy, not if I am happy, if they are happy, let them then take me. Otherwise, let them throw me. So he's completely surrendering. Then I'm convinced by what you're saying. Now you give me the teaching. And he becomes an arhat. So he was a sotapanna. He was a sakadagami. He was an anagami. He was an arhat. Didn't have to go through Buddha teaching. You please understand. And that's what this sutta is all about. Actually, if you take the first portion and the last portion, now the middle portion is only about Kama Sukha. So that, whatever we've been discussing, Itta, Kanta, Manapa, Kamupasamhita, and then he says that I was enjoying all of this. It didn't make any sense, so I left it and blah, 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 all that. But then he talks about 4 kind of leprosy patient. One leprosy patient is there and he's heating up. Then somebody comes and takes him to the doctor and the doctor gives him medicine. He applies the medicine. Then he becomes all right. The second person is the one who has this, but yet somebody wants to pull him towards the burning coal. And then he says, no, I don't want to go there, because he's seen the senses as hot. And the third one is actually hot itself from the beginning. It's not that they were not hot earlier. They were hot embers, but he was not aware. So sensuality is like hot embers. So they will burn all the time. But that person is like a leprosy patient, keeps on heating it up. in name of something or the other. So when we hold on to some tradition, when we hold on to some religion, when we hold on to something, it will burn you. If I were to take myself as Vilas, it's first burning. Because it's all towards me only, right? Vilas is seeing, Vilas is hearing, Vilas is tasting, Vilas is touching, Vilas is smelling, and Vilas is thinking. And that's the first person. Now I say Ravindra, second person. He's seeing, he's hearing, he's tasting, he's touching, he's smelling, he's thinking. Second person. Let's take Bobby, you as a third person. So again, same. Now we have quarrels, we have argument, we have this, we have liking, we have dislikes, with this, that. All of that is happening, which is nothing but burning. It was burning even before. Why? Because this whole body is itself like that. He tells that to Māgaṇḍiya. In fact, there's a beautiful phrase there, which we keep on singing. Arogam paramam labam nibbanam paramam sukham. And Māgaṇḍiya says, even we say that. Okay, tell me, what do you know? He says that arogya paramam labam, like what you said, he applied the medicine, it all went away. So that is arogya. And nibbanam paramam sukham, there's no more any pain, so that's nibbana. He says, what idiot are you? You only know how to puppet things. And look at the atrocity of Buddha. He's challenging Māgaṇḍiya. He's not a small person. All of these guys are achieved people. The Siddhas. They've achieved. And they come to challenge Buddha. They're not like me, who just go and tell Buddha, oh, you know what, in this sutta you're told like this, so what do you think? They get lost. So the way of argument is totally different. And he says to that Māgaṇḍiya, earlier people used to know, but over a period they lost it. They started just saying it. Now I will tell you what it is. And then he teaches him samatha and vipassana. And then he gets relieved. Now he sees what's the meaning of arogyam paramam labam, nibbanam paramam sukham. So first he removes the sensuality, like what we were doing in the Māgaṇḍiyasutta Sutta. You remove the sensuality, you come to the highest of the feeling, which is jhana. You remove the jhana, you're in nibbana. Now that is a parama sukha. The jhanic bliss is sukha, but still conditioned. Sensuality is the gross form of sukha. The second one, jhanic, is the subtlest form of the sukha. Nibbana is neither subtle nor gross. No sides. No absolute thing there in nibbana. Because that's the reason he says, Sanya Vedeta Nirodha. It means there is neither a perception that I am in this jhana or that jhana, or I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this, blah, blah. No feeling. Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukka Sukha Vedana. And hence he is in Nibbana. This is how we need to see this Māgaṇḍiyasutta. Next time I will talk to you about Bharadwaja. Even my wife doesn't know. I need her to be sitting next to me that she is from that clan. At least I have to say what your forefathers were doing. There's no point in calling yourself the Bharadwaja clan.
So it's only her or you also?
I am a caretaker family.
Caretaker.
I am like a Shudra.
Shudra. So this is Bharadwaja and Shudra is they are like from that what's that, Brahmin lineage. And
Shudra. No, Shudra is not from a Brahmin lineage at all.
So this Gandhiji was Shudra or Vaishya?
You have to ask Gandhiji.
Yeah, I think you are just joking. I don't know. I'm not talking according to Dhamma. I am talking according to this actual.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know whether he was a Brahmin or a non-Brahmin. I have no idea.
That we don't know, because Buddha also said in many similes that if your ancestors made intercourse with black girl, and how you can claim that at all.
Exactly. So that's the reason I can only talk about myself. I am from a Gotra called Haritasa. Okay. They are not contributed to the Veda. They are an outcast. Okay. Now, let me clarify. She is mumbling inside that room that why do you give wrong information? So let me give a right information.
She's hearing everything, right?
Yeah. Her ears are always here only.
I think she will get fully liberated soon.
Yeah. So what's the meaning of outcast and what is in the caste? In the original sense, not in the casteism, what has happened later. In caste means that you are part of a contributor, just like Nobel Prize winner, right? It's a caste. So you're casting them as Nobel Prize because they are doing some research. In that research, somebody is helper. He is taking burette, he's taking some pipe, he is also sitting with him, he's writing notes, he is helping him in typing out, he is helping him in maybe making the font big, small, and putting pictures and all of that. And in the end, okay, list of contributors, that person name is also there. And let's say he gets Nobel Prize. Who gets? That main fellow gets Nobel Prize. Does that make this contributor also get the Nobel Prize?
No.
Because he's just a caretaker. Now what happens? This whole paper now is in the custody of this person who will take care of it. I became a caretaker. In the same way, when Angirasa, Bharadwaja, Gautama is also another rishi. It's called Gautama. Then Viswamitra, Mitra. So he gives all the clan names in that sutta. So all of them, they gave their contribution into the Rik Veda, Yaju Veda, and Sama Veda. 3 Vedas. It's called Tevijja. So Buddha explains the Tevijja in a different way. Okay, in the Tevijja Sutta. But actually the meaning of Tevijja is 3 knowledge. So Rik talks about how things are. Yaju talks about how things are made. Sama talks about the vibrations. Okay. Now if I want to have some kind of resonance, meaning I want to create a meter where if I recite it this many number of times in this format, then the body should start to boil. Or outside it is pretty cold, it's minus 20. But I want to sit and meditate. That's a pain, right? Minus 20 is a pain. So then I am not having any clothes. Can I heat up to make 25 degrees centigrade? So that it's very pleasant. Or I'm sitting and meditating for hours together and I have a pain in the back. So can I do something to make it all right? So they learned the art of modifying the rupa. And Rik, Yaju, Sama, even though there is a lot of prayers and other things, it also comes with how the things work. So you can change the way it is and then make it all right. Right from arteries to opening up of the channels to do this and everything is there, part of that. Atharva Veda got added later, so they became 4 Vedas. Tharva means is to fear, Atharva is coming out of fear. So Atharva talks about everything should be done fearlessly. These are the 4 Vedas. And during the Gautama Buddha time, it was Tevijja, 3 Vedas. Rik, Yajur, Sama. So Rik became Rig, and Yaju is Yaju, Sama is Sama. So Rik Veda became Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda. So he uses in some suttas he says Rik. Rik means you are from Rik Veda. One who has developed the Rik Veda. So there are contributors only to the Rik Veda, then there are contributors to Yajur Veda, then there are contributors to Sama Veda. And there are caretakers, and one of the caretaker is Haritasa, who is held in high esteem because the way he was caretaking it is equivalent to a contributor. Okay, so they would then say Haritasa Gotro Bhavasya, that is, you have become from that. That means the lineage what you are following, you are doing a caretaker of it. Like in her case, she's from Bharadwaja. It means she is a contributor. She has been a contributor, meaning her clan, her lineage, starting from wherever, is a contributor. So what Buddha did is to cut this off, saying that forget this clan. Okay, Bharadwaja clan, this clan, that clan. I will teach you what is a clan. So Gotta. So he says that Gotrabhu. So you change the lineage. So I will teach you how to do that. You don't have to go by this. This is complicated. I will teach you something which can be for all the classes, because at his time it had become class, divided by class. So there was a class struggle between the Brahmins who were not really Brahmins. They were not Kshatriyas who were not really Kshatriyas, like that. So they were having all of these challenges. So Buddha helped in making Gotrabhu. And because of that, Māgaṇḍiya asked this question to that person, saying that you are from Bharadwaja Gotra. He will cut the embryo, means he will change your clan. He will change the Gotra. You would no longer be a Bharadwaja Gotra. Are you really willing to do that? That's the question. And Gotrabhu Jnana is one of the Jnana in the 16 Vipassana Jnanas. Okay, so you will come to know the change of lineage. In fact, by the way, Ravindra has asked me to talk about 16 Vipassana Jnanas, so which I will be doing it after this retreat. Let me see how capable are all of these people before I really plunge into that in telling, okay, these are the 16 Jnanas you can get. So I'm just waiting. I've just told him, give me some time. But my whole intention is, oh, Supriya is also here. I didn't recognize. So anyway, so I should be able to take it after they have done the retreat. I'll come to know, okay, looking at this person's face, how close, how far. Then it is easy. Yes, Saryu.
Maybe I can ask the question that I asked you earlier about what sutta, the sutta, the
Mahadukha Kanda Sutta.
Māgaṇḍiyasutta Kanda Sutta. There's talk about 3 levels, right? The first level is Kama, and then Rupa, and then the Vedana. So in my understanding of how Buddha used to usually give it, he give it, for you to follow it in that sequence, right? Follow for you to first remove Kama, then Rupa, and that. But you were also saying that the Rupa are more gross and the Kama are more subtle, which is proliferated from that. So why is something more subtle should be removed first? Because I asked you the question, you said the gross should be removed first.
There is one sutta for that, wherein he talks about Vijnana taking over the form, feeling, perception, like that. And there's another sutta, Kajjaniya Sutta, where he talks about Sankhara taking over the form, feeling, perception, and all that. Okay. So it depends on what state of your mind is to see that. rather being watertight compartment, saying that it should start with this, need not start with that. But in general, if you take a mathematical statement, and then we can say Rupa plus Nama plus Vijnana equals 0. So Rupa is Rupa plus Nama is Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhara Khanda, close the bracket, plus Vijnana. Now, can you do Rupa plus Nama minus Vijnana? Yes. Can you do Nama plus Rupa minus Vijnana? Yes. Can you do Nama minus of bracket Rupa plus Vijnana? Yes. Can you make Rupa minus bracket Nama minus Vijnana? Yes. Can you make Vijnana equals bracket Nama minus Rupa? Yes. Can you make Rupa equals Nama square plus Vijnana? Yes. Can you now make Nama square equals Rupa plus twice Nama? Yes. Divided by Vijnana. This many combinations you can do. All of them are valid. Okay, I'll do one thing. Next session, I'll take all of these 6.
I guess I did not understand all these combinations you were saying, but I guess the gist of it is that depending on the mentality,
Yes.
just like someone can get Paticca in one go, and
No,
no.
not like that. Let me give you 1 or 2 of them. Then the remaining thing we can take later. Let's take a normal person. Okay? He doesn't know anything about Nama. He doesn't know anything about Rupa. He doesn't know anything about Vijnana. What Buddha will do to him, such a person? He will teach him only Rupa and Ayatana. He doesn't talk about Panchakhanda. Right? Now, if you ask that person, Patavi should come first, Apo should come first, Tejo should come first, Vayu should come first, Akasha is going to come first, he will not answer who, if it is Buddha. He will say what is Patavi, what is Apo, what is Tejo, what is Vayu, what is Akasha. Correct? If somebody were to say, tell me about Ayatana, he will not say anything except for Vijnana. He will say, Chakku Vijnana Ayatana, Sota Vijnana Ayatana, Ghana Vijnana Ayatana, and then Jivha Vijnana Ayatana, Kaya Vijnana Ayatana, Mano Vijnana Ayatana. Correct? Yes or wrong? Okay. Now somebody, smart guy, understands the Vedana. Some smart guy. For him, there is no need for going through that Rupa. He can directly jump into Ayatana because Rupa is part of it anyway. Because Rupa, Gandha Rupa, Rasa Rupa, Pattabha Rupa, right? Dhamma Rupa. Should he then teach him anything of Rupa? No. So now which is gross, which is subtle in that sense? If I don't know, then I better go from Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, right? That is good for me because I'm in a gross sense. Ayatana is subtle, yes or no? Compared to Rupa. That's how I would do. But somebody is even more smarter than that. Okay? Then he sits and observes, says that, wait a second, come on, wait a second. You're saying this, Rupa, I'll put, okay. Now you're saying Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. Is there a way out? I can see Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara separately? No. What an idiot, my dear friend. You're saying you have to see it seriously. Now you're saying you shouldn't be seeing it seriously. Stick to one. Then what does that person say? Show the 5 khandas. Take the Rupa and Ayatana. Till you get into here. Now when he gets into here, I'll first say divide it by 5. So then I am making it a division factor, right? Rupa Khanda, separate. Vedana Khanda, separate. Sanya Khanda, separate. Vijnana Khanda, separate. Right? Relieved. Yes, your Vilas means Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Excellent. Now, Vilas, can you do one small favor to me? Rupa Khanda plus Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara equals Nama or not? Yes, it is Nama. Good. Can you now do like this? Rupa plus Nama plus Vijnana. Yes. Now Vijnana attaches to Rupa or not? Yes. Vijnana attaches to the Nama or not? Yes. Nama Rupa Samudayo, Vijnana Samudayo. Have I not taught you this? And if Buddha would have spoken to me, I would say, yes, Bhante. Now don't sit to me like an idiot. Tell me, can you experience anything without Vijnana? No. But for Vijnana, I require Nama and Rupa. Yes. So Rupa is where? Chakuncha paticcha. Gross. Chakku is the gross. Rupe upajjati. Rupa is the subtle. One is gross, one is subtle. When the subtle and gross join, the Vijnana happens. Correct or wrong? Tinna sangati phasso. So these three coming together is phassa. So should I teach you Patisamutpada separately, my dear friend? And the answer would be Naham Bhante. Why? You already told me. Chakuncha paticha rupecha puja. Chakku Vijnanam tinna sangati phasso. Phassa pache vedana. Vedana pache tanha. Tanha pache upadana. Upadana pache bhavo. Bhavo pache jati. Jati pache jara marana soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti. I don't have to go to avidya pache sankhara. Only this much is good enough for me, because I am able to understand. So it depends on the level of our understanding, are you to say whether this is here, and this is here. Yes.
I think I'm generally what's meaning that, because you said it's a pyramid, right? With the bottom. So that's what I meant, depending on your level of understanding.
Exactly.
How subtle your mind is, you tackle from different perspectives. Like, if you can already understand the Nama, then if you break the Nama, then Rupa also have broken.
Exactly. But another thing is there. The other side of it is you drop the Vijnana, Nama and Rupa will go away. Like, I see Ravindra, I see Aryu, I see Bobby, and I don't see Supriya. Correct? Yes or no? None of us can see Supriya. But how do we know that is Supriya?
Name.
No, it is Sanya. So cut the Sanya. Now you see this fun. What happens? Let's play the game. Okay. Ravindra is there? The answer is yes. How? Sanya is there, Rupa is there. So we can see through Chakku. Chakuncha paticcha rupecha pujjati Chakku Vijnanam tinda sangati passo passa pache vedana. In the Vedana, I am having a feeling somebody is sitting there. The Sanya is Ravindra. Same thing Bobby, same thing Aryu, and same thing Vilas. I should not be missing myself in this equation. But what about Supriya? Not there. Leave it. Don't create. Don't create. Because neither the sound is heard of her, nor we are seeing it, nor we are touching it, nor we are tasting it, nor we are smelling it, but only thinking about it. So where it is? Supriya in thinking. So if I can get into this level, my Vijnana, what happens? The Sanya was Nitya Sanya. It turns itself into Anitya Sanya. Now what would be the equation? Equation is Rupa minus, within bracket, Rupa minus plus what we have to do? Nama. That is minus within bracket Nama plus Vijnana. Now it negates. The Nama gets negated because the Sanya not being there. Can you then feel anything? No. Do you have any sankharas now? The mano sankhara is gone. That's the minus of Supriya. So Supriya is presently only a placeholder, not really a person out there. So mind was creating it that there is a person for real. It's just a placeholder. It's gone. So can I now do this for Ravindra? Yes. Can I do it with Bobby? Yes. Can I do it with Ariu? Yes. Can I do it with Vilas? Yes. If I do all of that, then what happens? The Nama falls down. So the Rupa is also gone. So what happened in the Vijnana? Unestablished, Anidasana. So like that we can see. So what he has done in the Māgaṇḍiyasutta Sutta, he has first explained Kama. Why? Kama is in the senses, correct? Ayatana. But that is gross. Because Itta, Kanta, Manapa, Kamupa, Samhita, Piya, Rupa, Rajaniya is, even though it's Ayatana, he is taking the gross of the Ayatana, not the Rupa, Saddha Rupa, Gandha Rupa, Rasa Rupa, Pattabha Rupa, that one. He's taking the Itta, Kanta, Manapa. That means you are doing something, which is Sankhara, basically. So when you do Sankhara, you will have gross experience, right? Ravindra is a gross experience, Bobby is a gross experience, Ari is a gross experience, Vilas is also a gross experience. Supriya is a subtle experience because we are not seeing anything, nor we are hearing anything. So which imagine that there is Supriya in these 6 people sitting here. So now Itta, Kanta, Manapa, Kama, Upasamhita, Piya, Rupa, Rajaniya is gross. When it comes to the Rupa, what is Rupa? He then talks about the body. So that is gross in the sense of seeing it. You can really see that this body is getting destroyed. So you cut the Kama. So what happens? The Rupa is seen. So he's saying that how do you do Pahana? He says that Kama Chanda Vinaya, Kama Chanda Pahana. So now you can see that the danger in the first one is to have Piya Rupa, all that. The second danger here is to not to see that it is getting aged and gone. Rupa is continuously getting into what? It is diminishing. It is changing, not only just changing, it's getting destroyed. Just like house, just like mobile, just like computer, just like everything, this body is also going through stages of destruction. So there's no point in keeping it. Now, if I compare these two, which is the first one? Should it be Rupa starting or should it be the Vedana starting? Yes, go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to Vedana yet, but I guess like a simple example, maybe a lay example is that let's say I'm fascinated by Google. And this person is crazy about Google. He really wants to get to Google. I want to bring him to the senses. Right? So I first show him Google is not what you imagine to be. Right? Bring down the Priya, like the Piya Rupa and all that to make you see, this is Google. Google has
exactly
working like this, like it's hard work. This is not what you imagine. And once the person is calm, less fascinated, less enthusiastic, then he can see, this is what Google really is. And he explained, this is also Google, this is also Google. So it's like in that sense, you're calming the passion first, and then you can see the reality.
Let me explain. This is a good example. So let's take, I would like to apply for Google. What's coming first? Rupa is coming first, Vedana coming first, Sanya coming first, Sankhara coming first, Vijnana coming first. Which one is first?
Rupa, Google, the sign, or
first, which is coming here, if you look at the sutta also, what he says that particular Vijnana. Chakku Vijnanehi Rupa. You shouldn't miss that Vijnana. Then the Itta, Kanta, Manapa, Kamupa, Samhita, Rajaniya is going to happen. If you can refer back to that sutta, MN 13. Just open it so that it becomes clear for you. So that Vijnana has Raga, Dvesha, Moha in that. And hence it can have Ittha, Kanta, Manapa, Kamupa, Samhita, and all of that. Right? So what it says, Chakku Vinyani Rupa.
Yeah, in the translation, he just put sight known by the eye, which is the cross way of
Yeah.
saying it.
They miss that Vinyana.
Yeah, miss that vinyana.
Yeah. So that is the reason it's better to read Pali rather than the English. We miss all of that so it's like lost in translation. Anyway, coming back to this. So the Vinyana. Vinyana has two parts, Chakku and Rupa. It brings together, it is Vinyana. He already has Raga, Dvesha, Moha, right? So that is gross or subtle? It is gross. So the Google is seen by me through the color, Google. The sight is solid, right? Patvi has color. So when you put a board, Google, it's a solid object, right? No matter it is mentally created, but it's still a solid object. You show me the building. So when we go to Cupertino, we'll see that place. So Cupertino is written there, but Cupertino no longer exists, but still it is there in the board. So I will take it as a solid experience, right? Chakku Rupa. And then when I enter inside the Googleplex or Google Place, and then you take me and you get me a guest ID. That is again solid thing which is coming. It says Google. Says Google employee, mine is guest. Now the experience is same, right? Irrespective whether you are a guest or a host. Till the time I'm in Google, the experience is same. So Itta, Kanta, Manapa, Kamupa Samhita, Rajaniya. I'm enticed by Google or not? Sota. There's some nice music coming in the Google. For that anyway we are going there. You're going to show me the Indian bread, dal, this, that, so many things. So you and Chirag, we are going to have a blast in Google. So
now the vinyana is contaminated by this thing called Google. So sound becomes Google sound, and this becomes Google smell and all that stuff.
Yes. So that's cross experience what you're having. To do that, to get that, I have to get my visa to US. I should be able to fly to US. Then I should be sitting for 17 hours in the flight. Then you should find a day when we can go into the Google. Then all of that. Then you have to drive there. Then we go. Then we do what? Eating, seeing, hearing, maybe touching some sofa set or whatever you have put that photograph. I'll say Chirag was sitting here on that day, so I'll say let me also sit that in that place, right? I'm sitting and I'm walking, right? And I'm thinking, and I think, wow, Aryu is such a lucky guy. And then what happens, Aryu, is that you talk to your wife and she says, I'll also give you a bird's eye view of Apple. So you come over, we'll go to Apple. So we have seen Google, then we see Apple. And what happened? It's all the same, right? Itta, Kanta, Manapa, Kamupa, Samhita, Rajaniya. So now I have all Apple products. Isn't it the most enticing moment for me? Honestly speaking. So that's the first thing. Now, in that being lost, the person cannot see the Rupa fading away. So Buddha uses that as a second one.
You mean in that fascination, he cannot see what's real?
What's real? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I get fascinated. See, let's take this example. We go to Arkansas, to the same place where you stayed. And we go and stay in that place. Would I be able to make it like Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana? No. Could I make it like Chakku Vinyana, Sota Vinyana, Ghana Vinyana, Jibha Vinyana, Kaya Vinyana, Mano Vinyana? No. I'm lost by that, right? That lake and the greenery and the sofa and the house and the luxury and all of that. In fact, after coming out from that place also, it takes me hours to get out of that fever. Now what to do? I have to bring in this one. Which one? The Rupa. So he uses that 16-year-old case where people are interested in seeing. Then he says, as it decays. And that was our sensuality working. That if you can cut out at the very moment, eyes, ears, nose, like that, and then you can see. In the same way, you can see it's only a building. It's created. The garden is created. The mowing machine is creating that. The lake has to be cleaned. So if you see the amount of effort that is put to make that happen, then the Rupa is, you can see that danger in the Rupa and also the Kamachanda Pahana and this one. Yes.
So if Buddha were to, if let's say I like a woman, it's Ita Kanta Manapa and all that. If someone were to come to me and say, she's going to be 80-year-old someday, and look like in his urine and feces, the mind in that fascination will reject that image because he's hoping too much to the Ita Kanta and all that.
Yes.
So he has to remove that fever first.
Yes, because even if, like that photograph I was showing right the other day, even though I know it is just a picture, it's created in AI or whatever it is, but still it is so enamored, right? It's so enticing. So you feel like seeing that woman's face and other part of the body forever. Now, even if somebody shows me a 80-year-old photograph, I know she's not 80-year-old, right? At this moment, I'm seeing her, the mouth is watering, but I can't see her 80-year-old. So what I do? I will enjoy. So the only way I can stop that is cutting out this eyes and nose and tongue like that. So I have to bring in Indriya Samvara then and there. So Buddha is talking to the bhikkhus who have established their Indriya Bhavana, or rather, guarding the sense door. We are not in that stage. So we have to do something else to get there. Otherwise, it just becomes like, an imagination and overlay. Just putting it just for the heck of it. Let's say while we were in the US, then we are going on the road and a nice hot looking girl were to come and we both were to see that woman or that girl. Would you at that moment make her an 80-year-old? No chance. Or when we go to Google or to Apple or wherever we go, or any store we go, would we be able to make it like an old dilapidated warehouse where everything is cramped and all old kind of furnitures and which are breaking? If you touch it also, it will break away. No. Like if I go to...
I was trying to see the skeleton these days. I'm trying to see that.
Yes, for doing the skeleton, I was teaching on that day, do like this, because then you really see the skeleton. Otherwise, you're just imagining the skeleton. No skeleton is there. Okay.
Because I guess it's the last question. So these arhat, right? Let's say you're saying the arhat only saw skeleton. But it's not like he has x-ray, he saw the skeleton or whatnot. Not like that. But he has connected the skeleton with what's really seen, which is why you start from somewhere you can see the teeth, because it's part of the skeleton. And through that entryway, you can really establish a perception of that. But without that entryway, you would be just two things, and they're not connecting in your mind. That doesn't work.
So we'll ask Supriya. So Supriya ji, aap ho kya?
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा वीडियो ऑन हो सकता है?
जी नहीं sir.
जी नहीं.
Sorry.
Okay. It's not in a state of video switching on. Otherwise, we could have played that. Okay. So now let's say I see my nose, this nose, not my nose, this nose. So slightly making it. I think I have shown it earlier. So just making it like this will change the rupa. See, the rupa gets changed instantaneously. you look so different. If you take a picture of that, like this, if I just go here, it would look like this. It's changed, right? And hardly took a minute, not a minute, hardly took a second to get to this. So if we were to play like this, you don't have to imagine. It's there. Nothing that I need to do extra. So if I were to observe this, like this, it looks like an animal thing, right? Like a dog. That's sufficient to break the jinx. So this will go away. So if I'm seeing Supriya and then I take only the eyes and make like this, her nose also something like this, and eyes, socket, teeth, then there's no ear, no nose, like that. The sensual starts from here, so that will cut off. Then you are done. So the rupa is gone. It's broken down. So you can see the deterioration in a second, right? So when the like say Ariu, that when we are crossing the street in San Francisco, a real hot woman is coming, or when we go to a beach, Bay Area, and then we go to a beach there, and then we see a bikini clad woman coming, our sight are stuck to the bikini. Okay, that's what we like. Instead of that, you should go here. So I'd only make my eyes, the vinyana, to establish here rather than somewhere else. Then it will cut off. Then this is cut off. This is cut off. This is cut off. This is cut off. And then by the time this comes, there's no bikini. Gone. I would see only Asubha there. There's only filth, nothing else. No matter how much I practice Asubha Bhavana and I go to the beach there and it's a, let's say, topless beach. And then the word topless itself makes me water in the mouth. Namaste. So if we can do something like that without imagination, so can I make Supriya look like a 90-year-old right now? Not possible. No matter how much we try. Only an Arhat can do that. But as Sotapanna, you can't do it. As a Sakadagami, you can't do it. Anagami, yes, you can play like what I'm trying to do. But I can't make her look like a 90-year-old. So I know she is young and she has still black hairs. Can I make that as a white hairs? No. Can I make her look like an owl or some other animal? No. I'm seeing her in the way I'm seeing. I'm seeing Bobby in the way I'm seeing. I'm seeing Ravindra in the way I want to see. So now this is problem, right? How can I cut it? No matter how much I imagine it, it's not going to work. Because I'm seeing a feminine form apart from a masculine form. But it's just no masculine, feminine, it's just a form. How do I do it? The only way I can do it is I can watch the nose, watch her inside the lips little bit, then make the eyes completely go away. Then the ears are gone. And that's it. Then she looks like more like a devil kind of or an animal kind of look. It makes disgusting. So then the remaining part of the body can be cut off. And then you see the skeleton, actual skeleton. Meaning you cut off this flesh and then what remains is only the skeleton. In the mind, skeleton get established instead of the flesh. That's how we practice. So then you can get into jhana because now there is no anyone here. Now I can get into the jhana, first jhana, because there's no vitakka vichar. Avitakka avichar. So second jhana is avitakka avichara. First jhana is savitakka savichara. So what I did, I cut off this frame. Now I can see all of you endlessly without getting anything caught up. So I will first jhana, then I can come to second jhana. So immediately the piti starts to arise, and then the third jhana, the sukha arises. The fourth jhana, it is equanimous, meaning no female, no male, no room, nothing. It's just free of all of this. Now I can make it land on an infinite space. Akashanchayatana. Now I am coming actually into ayatanas. 4 ayatanas. And then cut feeling and perception in the ayatana, which is sanya vedata nirodha. That's exactly what I did in the Vipassana course.
But
Yes.
this summer is all about the manasikara.
Amanasikara, yes.
And then manasikara of something, and then
Yes, yes.
changing
So
it.
now if you use a Chula Shunyata Sutta, now I see Supriya, I see Ravindra, I see Bobby, I see Ariyu, I see Vilas. First step, amanasikara of feminine, masculine. First thing. Because there are no, in that case, he's talking about people, and then manasikara of the forest. Before I even go there, I need to first do amanasikara of feminine form and the masculine form. What I do, I see all of this. So the people are gone. Now I can do manasikara of a forest. Can I do that? Yes. You can do the manasikara of forest. Because it's created in the mind. So these people are gone. In its place, a secluded place is seen. And then from there, you start working out. Yes.
So the mind is kind of like a computer with many applications, one stacking on top of it. So you need to close one application, and when
Correct.
otherwise, if you try to close the lower one, upper one is still running, it will not allow. So you have to do like that.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, everyone.